Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Lens Life, where we are here to discuss the impact of glass, as well as the goal is to educate, motivate, and inspire. My name is Phil Johnson, and I'm really excited to introduce the third TikTok star, Axel Bostrom. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, Phil, you did. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. I mean, to start off with the impact of glass, I mean, I saw one of your first videos on TikTok, and I just love the fact that you recorded something on your phone, and because of that, here in Charleston talking with you in California, and this is our first time actually even meeting, so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Social media as a whole, especially TikTok, has been such a great, just such a great platform to trying to get a hold of.
Yeah, and connect with this community, and that's kind of the goal here with Lens Life. So, what was inspiring for me seeing your story, one of the first, and you're doing great on there, man. You're just like cranking them out, and seriously, you were getting like one or two likes the first time I saw you. Now you're getting to like over 50, hearts every time I see you on there. So great work on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, one of the inspiring things for me, I saw that you actually quit your job to pursue full-time photography. Um, and I think hearing those stories, I'm sure that was a scary thing for you to do. Um, but it just hearing those stories, I think, is what's super inspiring for people. So can you tell us a little bit about, that journey, I guess maybe where your love of photography came from, and then how you got to that ledge of jumping off of the 9 to 5 into this crazy world?
Yeah, of course. So it started a long time ago with I was working for this business called California Carnivores, which is a carnivorous plant nursery here in California. And so I was working with all of just the wildest, crazy things in nature, all these carnivorous plants, a lot of really rare, cool plants. And I had started their Instagram account just taking photos on my phone, and that's kind of was my getting my feet wet into some photo editing, into some composition and things like that. Was starting up their Instagram. I don't even know how long ago at this point. It kind of started to snowball from there, that I just really started to fall in love with photography, and then obviously as your tastes start to change, you kind of start. The issue with a phone, at least in that, with what I was doing with it, was that I felt that I could never really show people exactly what I was looking at in the way that I was perceiving it. So I was like, all right, well, it's time to get a better stuff.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so essentially, I mean, starting my passion for photography, it started really with just a bunch of really weird plants in a greenhouse and me and my phone, just starting that Instagram page for that business. Then it's obviously turned into so much more, and I've just loved taking photos ever since. Uh, fast forward to I quit my job back in May, so that was just 4 or 5 months ago, and it is a really scary thing to just kind of finally make that jump, and you feel like you're just going to jump straight off a cliff.
Yeah.
But uh, for me, I had, I've got a lump sum of savings to kind of carry us out as everything's picking up, as everything's building. But for me, what really threw it over the edge is that just getting really tired of the run of the mill corporate 9 to 5 at an office job, and just wanting to do something different. One of the best things that I've always heard is just that, nobody is ever going to look back at the end of everybody's life. Nobody's going to look back and think, oh man, I'm so glad I gave all that to that. I gave all that to my job.
Yeah.
So no, I wanted to, I wanted to pursue photography, and I wanted to be out climbing mountains and looking at trees and getting up at 2 in the morning to go drive a couple hours to catch a sunrise.
That's awesome, and that's one of the things I've noticed in all your videos is just your passion, and I think that's something that's so important for anyone who's thinking about getting into photography, is like that love, that's what's got to drive you for sure. And
Mhm.
that's cool with you with just a camera. And I mean, cameras now are crazy what they can do.
Definitely.
But yeah, that can, that's where you started, right? It's just with a camera, and it's like, oh well, I love this. Let me take it to the next step, and that's you just keep evolving, and you work with what you have. Like if all you have is a camera, start with that, right? But then
Mhm.
get your first camera, and um, I don't know, that's awesome,
Yeah, and there's going to be so many, so many, so many people that tell you, uh, the best camera for you to have is the one that you already have.
right?
Yeah, as long as you're taking photos, it doesn't really matter what you have.
Exactly. Um, and so I do real estate photography, and like one of the biggest kind of products that we sell are the twilights for the sunset, but you are the sunrise guy, man. It's like the opposite. I can't believe how early you get up, um and what's interesting is like you seem to love like fog, and
Yeah, yeah,
whereas
yeah.
that would be something that I like stay home that day or I don't shoot. So it's so cool like what you and you talk about the 9 to 5 to that drove me crazy. I was like basically a receptionist before this and
Mhm.
crawling out of my skin. Like it's just the same thing every day. Um, I just watched a video of you like climbing around mountains, looking at the ocean, doing crazy stuff. It's hard to believe that you're monetizing your passion for one,
Mhm.
but I also applaud like your commitment. It must be, how was that transition? Because I mean, you've got to be really dedicated and have a plan to do what you do. What does that look like for you?
Uh, I've become somewhat of a weatherman.
Okay.
So I'm constantly on the weather. I'm constantly on Google Maps, just looking at satellite images. I was thinking of a TikTok that I wanted to make where it was just, how I find all these random places, and it was literally just me hours on Google Maps, just looking at satellite images, looking for funky rock formations or whatever that might look cool. Uh, but it is tough, especially if the place that you really want to go to is a couple hours away and you want to try and get there for a sunrise. Like, you're like, okay, well, sunrise right now is at 6 in the morning, so I got to get up at at 2:30 if I want to get ready and go and make it there by 40 minutes before sunrise, yada yada yada.
Right.
Um, but it's funny that you brought up sunrises versus like sunsets and the twilight hour, just because I think sunrise, I don't know, man, sunrises hit a little bit different
Hmm.
because it's, you can, when you're taking photos of sunrise or sunsets, you can kind of watch the day and you know what you're in for.
Right.
You can watch the clouds move, you can watch the light progress and things like that. There's something about just going out totally blind, don't know what anything's going to look like. You have like the best guess you could possibly get based off of a weather app,
Hmm.
and just finding out what you're going to get.
Right.
And so it's like, I don't know, it's like opening a present on Christmas.
When I was first starting the sunsets, I would I would basically take the batches and batches of photos, and then I would go back and be like, oh well, right here, that was the money shot. And
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm familiar with it, I can kind of roll in right at the right time, take my shots, and get out. Is it like that for a sunrise, or is it different every time, or are you learning all the tricks to capture that perfect sunrise?
It's actually quite a bit different because you don't really especially like I live in coastal California, so we have fog roll in, we have fog roll out, we have low clouds, high clouds, all sorts of stuff. Um, and so you don't really realize that as soon as the sun starts to rise, the warmth from the sun changes the air, changes the fog, everything starts to move, everything starts to scatter.
Yeah.
Um, so I've had, I don't know if you saw my last video of the
Bridge.
shot I got of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Amazing.
Uh, so I took that photo like 30 minutes before sunrise came up. Gorgeous blue hour. You had just a touch of the fog at the top of the bridge, so the lights at the top of the bridge were just kind of like creating these
Yeah.
spotlights. And then as soon as the sunrise, you had all this dense fog just like start surrounding everything. And it's like no more contrast, no more color. You're looking at a gray sky with an orange flat bridge.
Wow.
So
That
uh,
that one was awesome.
I, that one was just like the pinnacle of anxiety for me because I'm sure you know what it's like is when you take that photo and you can see it in the camera and you can realize like what potential that has.
Right.
But then you're also completely terrified because if you get home and it's not sharp or whatever's wrong with it, it just crushes you.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
you shoot with Sony, right?
Yeah.
So I have a Sony 7 III or 3i or whatever, and uh,
Okay.
the other day I had 5 shoots, and at the end of my first shoot, they wanted like close-ups of different things at the house, and I have the setting where it will tell you what's in focus. So
Mhm.
I did those shots, everything was fine. I went to my second shoot, and I guess I just never moved the focus ring. So I did the rest of my day like as a close up versus infinity.
Oh no.
So my whole day was ruined. I had to redo it.
Uh,
uh, but yeah, so I was looking at the screen and everything was red and in focus, and looking at the LCD, I was like, "Oh, I'm fine." Like it looks, but yeah, you get back to the computer, it's like I'm not fine.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've definitely had some stuff like that. For me, my worst habit is just not switching back to raw
mm,
when I'm going out and doing my stuff.
yeah,
So all family stuff that I'm just gonna send straight to my phone. I'm not really gonna do anything. Well, I'll just shoot it in JPEG, but
right.
then I'll never switch it back to raw. And there's definitely been some hurt feelings where I know I'm gonna need to recover a lot of shadows, or tone down a lot of highlights in order to get what I wanted, and it's just
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So people who see your TikToks, I know for me, there's like this allure to it. You know, you're like this adventure photographer, landscape, nature, just like exciting stuff. If someone's looking to do that, so how do you actually turn that love and passion and monetize it? Like, what does that part look like?
I think in the beginning, it's really just going to be a lot of stock photography and print sales. If you can get your prints of your work, or if you have friends, family, people in your neighborhood, just really start letting everybody know what you're doing and how you're doing it. Stock photography can be really slow to start out with until you have a profile that's got at least a few hundred photos on it before it really starts making you much of anything.
Yeah,
Um, Print sales for me are fun because I love printing my photos.
yeah,
That's just I love that.
yeah,
So that, I mean, to start out, that's what I have done is stock photography and print sales. If you can get yourself like a little booth at a local flea market or something like that, and you have a selection of a dozen really nice photos that you want to try and sell, I'm sure you'll be able to get rid of probably all of them in a day.
yeah,
Um, and then obviously you can start trying to reach out to like local governments and things like that run the state parks, that all that sort of stuff, and see if they have any use for freelance photographers. Whether it be they have, like, now it's post COVID, so they want everybody to get out again.
yeah,
Well, not post COVID. We're probably going back into whatever, but um, they're wanting everybody to get out, and there are some places that are going to want somebody to go out, explore, and share their experiences.
yeah,
And then last thing is just like, if all else fails, people pay. If you need to do some portraits, you need to do some. Hopefully, you don't have to do a wedding unless you're a wedding photographer and that's what you like
right.
to do. But yeah,
I'm staying far away from those, that's for sure.
yeah.
So you're a couple months in, and that's kind of what you've been doing. What does moving forward look like for you with what you're doing?
So right now, I'm I'm really trying to buckle down on TikTok and really just try to focus on getting my name out there.
Hmm.
I actually just today I printed out a bunch of sheets that just had a quick, "Hi, my name's Axel. I'm a photographer. Buy my stuff" type of a thing,
Yeah.
and with a business card, and just put it on all the houses in my neighborhood, just like, "Hey, I'm your neighbor. I'm a photographer." you know
Right. Yeah.
so just to try and drive up some business on that side too. But I think, as for what I want to do for nature photography, it's really, you need to be really, really active on social medias, to try and gain any traction there with people who are going to want to hire you or anything like that.
So that's the goal on like TikTok for you, is basically to get noticed and hopefully have some people hire you for some freelance work there.
Yeah, ultimately.
And can you talk about that a little bit? Because I mean, really, you're doing great on there. Like, do you have a set like posting schedule, or how much you're posting? I mean, because you're on my For You page all the time.
Yeah,
How many followers are you at now, and all that?
I am at 4,940 ish.
Nice.
um Yeah, and so I mean, to go from, I mean, nothing. I think I posted my first TikTok back in April, but I wasn't doing anything consistent back then. It was like I'd put something up like once a week. But I mean, just to go from April to now and have be almost at 5,000, to me that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to stay on posting something every day.
Okay.
So I have to try and stagger things a little bit, because I can only afford to go out on hikes or sunrises and things like that 2 or 3 times a week. So I have to plan out kind of where I'm going to go, what do I want to talk about, and kind of stockpile a few videos so that I can burn through those until the next time I can go out again.
Yeah. No, that's
Uh, but but yeah, I mean, really, I need to be posting at least once a day.
okay. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that's awesome. Because yeah, your growth has been great. I am actually really surprised that I haven't seen you with a drone yet.
Ah, well, you see, being that I am only a few months in so far, I haven't gone off that far into the deep end yet. I got the camera, and
Yeah.
then I spent, oh geez, like almost $4,000 in lenses
Yeah.
after I bought the camera.
Impact the glass, man. It
I
makes a big
know,
difference.
it does. It does. I know. I was glad to hear that. I mean, when you're getting into photography, everybody makes such a big deal about the camera body that you're using. So I was really excited that when I was doing my own research, that I can pick up something like what I'm using, Sony's A7R2, which is
Yeah.
a 6-year-old camera body that you can get for about $1,200 if you buy it brand new,
Right.
and that you can still just get outstanding results with.
Yeah.
But your lenses are going to be super expensive.
Right.
That's really where you should be focusing your money.
Yeah. No, that's great advice for sure. And that's kind of been the consensus that I've heard from other photographers is glass, glass, glass all day long. So,
Yeah.
is there anything like questions or things that you're getting on TikTok from people that you want to chat about, like kind of frequently asked questions that you get a lot?
I think it's fairly typical for a lot of photographers as they start to gain some notoriety, is that everybody wants to know, what kind of camera should I get? If you have any recommendations for lenses for landscapes or portraits or this or that. And I try not to be. I try to give like some constructive advice without being too dismissive of the question, because everybody's, like I said, everybody's saying, "Oh, what kind of camera should I get?" And it doesn't matter nearly as much as people like to think,
Right.
because you can get, like, if I were to go out and get just like a little Sony A6000 for $200 and get a kit lens with it, I know that you can still get fantastic results with that, and it'll still be a considerable step up from, if you're coming from a smartphone or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then other than that, also, it's just kind of what you alluded to earlier, which is how do you, fight the urge to not just lay in bed and get out so early in the morning to go on a hike and something like that. And I think it really boils down to, because I'm at the level I guess just psychologically, I'm at the level where if I've got an idea in my mind of a place that I want to go, I will have a hard time sleeping until I've been there.
Yeah.
So I'm actually getting less sleep the longer I postpone it.
Yeah.
I almost want to just kind of get it out of the way so I can go back to bed.
I absolutely hear that, whether it's like a song idea or just writing something. I can't move forward until I get that creative thing out of me.
Yeah.
Like scratch that itch. So I completely understand that.
Yeah.
Did you talk about a timer one time?
I did actually. I was actually just thinking about that, because the hike that I did down to Sculptured Beach was kind of the perfect example of, I really wanted to just lay in bed, but I really wanted to go to that beach also.
Yeah.
And while I was on that hike, before I had gone on that hike, I had seen a YouTube video from James Popsis, who talked about the 10-minute photography rule, where if anytime you go out with the intention of taking photos, if you hadn't taken a photo in 10 minutes, you need to stop what you're doing, look around you, and take a photo.
Yeah.
And that really resonated with me, especially as you're out in nature or even in cities, cityscapes and things like that, is you're passing all of this stuff all the time. And especially if you're tired and you're hiking or you're going uphill, or you kind of just want to get to your location and then worry about your camera and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you can be passing up a lot of really great opportunities. So essentially what it is that when you go out, set a timer for 10 minutes. If you haven't taken a photo in that 10 minutes, it's time to stop what you're doing, and you need to take a photo before you can proceed. And if you take a photo, you can reset the timer if you want. If not, just let it do what it's going to do.
Yeah.
And I've gotten, I wouldn't say I've gotten my favorite photos by doing that, but I've definitely gotten a lot more photos that I otherwise wouldn't have even looked at.
Yeah.
Just because I go out every morning, and probably a lot of people go out every morning with a clear vision of what they want and what they want to photograph, that anything that is not that, they're completely blind to.
Right.
And that was a huge issue for me as well.
Yeah. It's like that, I can't remember the name of the show, but where they give you like 3 random ingredients to cook with, and you've got to make a dish out of it, right? Like,
oh, it's like Chopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're forced to be creative, and that forces you to make something that you would have never ever made before, right?
Yeah.
That was a great discipline. When I saw that video of yours, I was like, oh, it's a really good tip for, I guess, how to grow that discipline and how to get out there, because you don't have someone above you or behind you saying, do this and wake up today and do that. Like it's all up to you to create the
yeah
yeah. And
I think I'm gonna start doing little TikTok videos where it's just my 10-minute photography TikToks of what I got on that hike or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool. So can you tell us your website and your handle so people can check out your work and see your content?
Yeah, definitely. So everything for me as it relates to photography is just Axel Bostrom Photography. That's what it is on TikTok. That's what my website is just axelbostromphotography.com. My email is just axelbostromphotography@gmail.com. So I'm super easy to get a hold of. It's just my name and photography.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful part of having a unique name as well. So that worked out well. Is there anything else you want to leave the viewers with?
Yeah, actually, and it's just the you know the best little bit of advice that I can give absolutely anybody who wants to pursue photography seriously is that you just need to start taking photos. It doesn't matter if you're in your backyard, it doesn't matter if you're in your neighborhood, or if wherever you're at, you need to just be taking photos, because no matter what, you're you could possibly just be taking a bunch of random photos that you're never going to do anything with, but I guarantee you there's going to be some times when you force yourself to take some photos that you're going to find some stuff you never saw before, and you're going to be really happy you did.
Absolutely. That's some great advice. Well, man, you've definitely been an inspiration for me. And I'm going to continue to watch you grow. And I encourage everyone to go check out his website and him on TikTok to see what he's got doing. And yeah, man, thanks so much for being on. And I look forward to seeing everything that you do in the future.
Yeah, thanks man, thanks for having me.
All right. We'll see you soon.
All right, take care.